Job's Daughters is not only found in the United States and Canada, but also in Australia, Brazil, and the Philippines. These are the flags of our sister countries. This is the flag of the Commonwealth of Virginia. The state motto, Six Semper Tyrannis, meaning thus always to tyrants, is a reminder that virtue will overcome tyranny and of our forefathers who died to make us free. If you've ever been to a Joby function in Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, or Pennsylvania, you've likely heard the term Quad Squad. These are the flags of our sister states. The Christian flag is a symbol that we have the right to worship as we choose. It is the only flag that can fly above any national flag. The Jewish flag has the Star of David, which has always symbolized Judaism. The Masonic flag represents our heritage in Job's Daughters. The square and compasses are centered over the letter G, reminding all Masons that their acts are done under the watchful eye of the great architect. The Eastern Star flag has a 5-pointed star with different colors, each representing a distinguished heroine and her lessons. The white amaranth flag represents purity of heart and action. The crown and sword represent royalty and power, and the wreath immortality. These organizations provide us not only our heritage and past, but also our future. The three Masonic youth organizations, Job's Daughters, DeMolay, and the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, work to prepare today's youth to be tomorrow's leaders. Today we take a moment to salute our military, those men and women who dedicate their lives to the service of our country. The members of our 5 military branches, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, protect us both here at home as well as abroad. Each branch has its own flag and duties. Let's learn a little more about them. The Army is the oldest U.S. military service, officially established June 14, 1775. Its primary function is to protect and defend the country and its interests with ground troops, armor, artillery, attack helicopters, tactical nuclear weapons, and other weapons. Some fun facts about our Army. The Army is older than the country it serves. The Army employs over 1 million personnel. At the request of an Army Air Corps Lieutenant General, Bosch and Lomb designed glasses that would block the rays of the sun and reduce nausea and headaches suffered by pilots. This was the birth of the Ray-Ban sunglasses. There are currently 500 dogs in the Army. There are military bases in at least 74 countries with a total of around 800 bases. 16 presidents served in the Army, including Theodore Roosevelt. Established November 10, 1775, the Marine Corps specializes in amphibious operations. They specialize in assault, capture, and control of beachheads. They have their own air power, but do rely on the Navy for logistical and administrative support. Some fun facts about our Marine Corps. There are 2 training locations. Where a recruit attends boot camp depends on from which side of the Mississippi the recruit comes. Marine recruits must finish eating the moment their drill instructor is finished. This explains why Marines eat so fast. Hurry up and wait is what happens when each leader down the chain of command tells his or her Marines that to be there 15 minutes prior to the senior's directive. They must not operate on Joby time. Marines in uniform are not allowed to put their hands in their pockets, and only female Marines are authorized to carry umbrellas while in uniform. Famous Marines include Drew Carey, Montel Williams, Rob Riggle, Shaggy, Gene Hackman, Steve McQueen, and Adam Driver. The Navy, established in 1775, maintains and protects U.S. interests at sea. They supplement Air Force power using aircraft carriers, as well as transport Marines to areas of conflict. Their ships allow land target attack from great distances. Fun facts about our Navy. NCIS is more than just a TV show. It is the primary law enforcement agency of the Navy. The team is comprised of 1,200 special agents, 900 civilian professionals, and 200 military members. The Navy SEALs are a special unit. This elite team comprises less than 1% of all Navy personnel. People who operate submarines all volunteer for the position. Have you ever seen the Blue Angels perform? The volunteer group, a part of the Navy, travels to showcase the pride and professionalism of the Navy and Marine Corps. The term field day comes from the early 1800s when military men would attend parades in their honor. One of the oldest football rivalries is between Army and Navy. Starting in 1890, their military academies, West Point and Annapolis, have had a friendly but intense game each football season. As of 2019, Navy leads the series 61-52-7. Famous members of the Navy include Roger Staubach, Jack Lemmon, Yogi Berra, Henry Fonda, Johnny Carson, Jesse Ventura, and Presidents Ford, Johnson, and Kennedy. The Air Force is the youngest military service, having been a part of the Army until 1947. The Air Force primarily supports ground troops from the air. They are also responsible for all military satellites and control strategic nuclear ballistic missiles. Fun facts about the Air Force. The Air Force tracks Santa, handling calls from 200 countries. It was an airman, Chuck Yeager, who broke the sound barrier in 1947. Airmen welcomed their new commander by stomping on his or her roof. The Air Force once built a supercomputer out of Sony PlayStations. Famous airmen include Presidents Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush, as well as Johnny Cash, George Carlin, Willie Nelson, Morgan Freeman, and Chuck Norris. The smallest branch of our military, the Coast Guard, was established as the Revenue Cutter Service in 1790, then reformed to United States Coast Guard in 1915. Working as part of the Department of Homeland Security, the Coast Guard consists of ships, boats, aircraft, and shore stations that conduct a variety of missions. Fun facts about our Coast Guard. The Coast Guard once had a hockey team that competed in the Eastern Amateur Hockey League, considered to be one of the most competitive leagues of its time. In 1918, Sisters Genevieve and Lucille Baker were the first uniformed women to serve in the Coast Guard. There are approximately 45,500 active duty members. Annually, members of the Coast Guard respond to approximately 20,000 search and rescue cases and save about 4,000 lives. Famous Coast Guard members include the Bridges family, Lloyd, Bo, and Jeff, Arnold Palmer, Tom Blake, Alex Hale Jr., who played the skipper on Gilligan's Island, Tom Waits, and of course Popeye. We're proud of our military. We're especially proud of those among our Job's Daughters family who have chosen to continue the lesson of service by giving to our country.
Takes a lot of courage to have to say goodbye, not knowing as you go to war if you will live or die. Many make this sacrifice and they fight to keep us free. They're doing it for each of us, they're doing it for me. Thank you, military, our country's proud of you. We are all so grateful for everything you do. And with our flags a-waving, we'll proudly stand and say, thank you, military, we honor you today.
To our veterans, those actively serving, and to those who will choose the military in the future, we thank you. To the families of our service members, thank you for your sacrifice as well.
Takes a lot of courage, families left behind. They worry for your safe return, you're always on their mind. Pray your strength will change this earth, but one day we will see a world that's filled with hope and love, with peace and harmony. Thank you, military, our country's proud of you. We are all so grateful for everything you do. And with our flags a-waving, we'll proudly stand and say, thank you, military, we honor you today. Army and the Navy, Air Force and Marines, to our armed forces and those behind the scenes. Let's not forget our Coast Guard, they protect our homeland too. America is grateful, we give our thanks to you. Thank you, military, our country's proud of you. We are all so grateful for everything you do. And with our flags a-waving, we'll proudly stand and say, thank you, military, we honor you today. Thank you, military, we honor you today.
Without any of you, we would not know the peace of mind that comes with protection 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Thank you for being brave.